All right, ladies and gentlemen, and we are back. We are returning with the live streams, guys. Okay, so for those of you guys who are on my old live streams, you guys know the drill. I'm going to go live on Instagram real quick just to get people in here and just promote it real quick. And we will start the first ever episode of Vince Dow live in just 5 minutes here. Okay, so don't go anywhere, folks. Let's do this. All right, very excited to be back. Feels like election season all over again, doesn't it? All right.
Just did some said too.
Excuse us. This vote.
All right, folks, this is exciting. I was literally just walking around Capitol Hill today, and I managed to bump into Nancy Pelosi. Speaker Pelosi, so you promised $2,000 stimulus checks if Democrats won the Georgia Senate runoff. So why have you not backtracked on that promise? Can we get an answer, Mrs. Pelosi? Nope, I guess not. It looks like Pelosi is dodging questions from the press, but let's keep circling around here. So over here, guys, it looks like I've stumbled into a meeting of top congressional Democrats. I believe they're discussing this year's budget. I didn't vote for more foreign wars because you did vote for more foreign wars, and you sort of knew that you were voting for more foreign wars. So why did you vote for him? It's going to be a giant "I told you so" for me and a lot of other conservatives. Left troops out in the cold, turned their backs on you. I was told to just protect them, then you'd fall. But on day one, that's pretty bold. You go and make us wear a mask. You say it's not too much to ask, but then you don't wear a mask. Your own rules too much a task. I'm saying Biden's hiding, Biden's frightened, Biden keeping us divided. Biden sickness heightens and Kamala's grip on power tightens. This ain't unity, this ain't for you and me. This is hurt and break things with total impunity. You want a clean slate from the past, but ain't nothing changed with you. You still America last. And you showed it pretty fast, so don't no one listen. You a pretty big ass, and your VP ain't cool cause she has a little sass. The news live in a fantasy while you giving amnesty, but you ain't got a fan in me cause I care for our people. See, yes, I said our people, not illegals at Home Depot, cause some children pretty feeble. So why are we the world's weasel? Yeah, it's about power. Elites in their ivory towers. American voters are too sour, drawn them out by the hour with illegals for the power. You don't care, you a coward. Yeah, illegals for the power, illegals for the coward. Yeah, hella sedentary, incompetent per secretary. Wish you could be like Barry, but at least her legs are hairy. That don't make no sense. Nah, you don't make no sense. Liberal cities full of tents, migrants wanna hop the fence. Yeah, people losing jobs, people chased by all the mobs, people in garages for the ops, people falling in the slobs. Yeah, this is Joe's America, this is what he plans for ya. Now we back in Paris, now we gon' perish, yeah. Hey, I can't say I didn't tell you. I can't say I didn't warn you, cause I did. All right, and we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. If you guys are watching over on the Instagram live, let me just go shout them out real quick. Do me a favor, leave. This is lame. You're like literally seeing the side of my face, okay, folks? So leave the Instagram live. Go ahead on over to the link in my bio and join our YouTube live. But for the folks who are on my YouTube live and are objectively far cooler than the people just sitting around on the Instagram live doing absolutely nothing, welcome. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? We are back with the streams upon popular request, upon popular demand, okay? It feels like election season all over again. Unfortunately, my YouTube channel is basically like dead, like it has no engagement whatsoever, but it is the rebuilding process now, okay? It is time to take back what is ours as VinceDao, as the VinceDao Empire and as VinceDao Nationalists, okay? Two different factions, pick your side, but regardless, whether you're an imperialist or a nationalist, okay, we all agree on the fact that these are epic and these live streams are epic and you should join them. And for the people on Instagram live, you should go head on over to the link in my bio and join that as well. But folks, so we're back here on the live streams. It literally feels like we haven't done this in forever, but the production quality is literally so much higher now because, like, hold on, let me move this freaking phone over this way real quick. I actually can like live stream off my camera now, and it probably looks so cool. But anyways, guys, I begin tonight's stream. By the way, we're gonna be doing this every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time, unless I decide to change it, but probably most likely. Okay, so I begin to you. I open to you guys with where we're not in like the best of states right now, guys. I mean, increasingly, and I think everyone knew this was true, but now you're starting to really see it happen. Increasingly, what you're seeing is our civilization itself at a crossroads. Okay, as a crossroads of not just like, oh, are we gonna go in this direction or that direction? No, a crossroads of are we gonna survive at all? Or are we gonna collapse at all? And by the way, for those of you guys in the Instagram live, make sure you go head on over to the link in my bio. Okay, you're literally lame if you're just sitting here watching it from Instagram. Lame, cringe. Don't do that. But I can't help but watch as they try to, because you look at history and you look at how every like major civilization has fallen. A little bit different, but most of the time it's the same story every single time. Okay, and I watch, okay, folks, I watch as they try to stretch out our country in pointless, stupid, and counterproductive foreign wars. Okay, self-explanatory there. I watch as they try to indiscriminately flood our borders. Okay, I watch as they try to hollow out our working class and our actual, industrial base and manufacturing base here in America. And I watch as they try to destroy our values, our the morals and the values and the history. Okay, the rich history that actually holds our country together. And I can't help but realize, I can't help but stop and see that these people are actually rooting for the collapse of our civilization here, okay? And people might kind of look at this and say, well, Vince, you're being a little bit dramatic, but am I really being that dramatic? It is a slow process, okay? Rome did not fall in a day, okay? Like, yes, it did fall in a day, but like the cracks were starting to form over the period of hundreds of years. And I think that's really what we're seeing here. Maybe it's over more for us, like over the period of several decades instead of hundreds of years, but you are seeing the cracks start to form, okay? You're seeing the cracks start to form. Now, what is the motivation of people to basically destroy at least America as we know it, right? America as we know it. And the simple answer is, well, to create that de facto one world government that they really have been striving for this entire time. And that might seem kind of dramatic. You might look at the story around Dr. Seuss. I'm sure you guys have all heard it by now and say, well, this is that, Vince, you're being a little bit dramatic here. But the thing is, it goes far beyond Dr. Seuss, right? This is an overall thing that we're seeing across the board. It's not just Dr. Seuss. It's been George Washington. It's been Thomas Jefferson. Okay, everyone who has built something in this country and contributed something to the history of this country, they are coming for their heads. And Dr. Seuss is simply one person in that firing line. And I was kind of reminded of it. And, ironically, during the same week that Joe Biden is getting us into probably more stupid foreign wars, you really stop and look at this, and you really have to stop and realize that, holy crap, our civilization is kind of on the decline here, folks. I mean, just take a look at it. China is basically breeding its kids. Like kids in China go to school like 6 days a week. Okay, they're very rough on their kids. They basically teach. I'm pretty sure all the boys at least have to serve in the military. Like China is out here building a very strong civilization, and meanwhile, here in the United States of America, we're literally saying that kids can't read The House on Mulberry Street because there's like one offensive drawing in the book. Like, it's coming down, guys. Okay. It's literally coming down. Okay. It's not looking good. And by the way, for those of you guys who are still in the Instagram live, be sure to go and join. But be sure to go and join and link in my bio. But yeah, we're seeing this this battle to remove Dr. Seuss, and I actually wanted to play a clip from CNN actually defending the canceling of Dr. Seuss right now, because this is just ridiculous. And I feel like, I don't want to straw man them. I don't want to make up what they're saying. I feel like we should let the Dr. Seuss cancelers speak for themselves, and that's what we're gonna do. So.
Cancel culture after Dr. Seuss Enterprises announced 6 of the famed author's books will no longer be published because tonight, conservatives blaming cancel culture after Dr. Seuss Enterprises announced 6 of the famed author's books will no longer be published because of offensive imagery.
The postmodernist, almost academic left, they are not satisfied until almost every single piece of literature, film, or pop culture is eliminated if there might be one thing that could be found potentially wrong.
With the woke culture today, Dr. Seuss gets canceled, Shakespeare gets canceled, Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn gets canceled. Every past work can't match the woke standards of the liberals today, so everything is going to be canceled.
Okay, well, let's show you the sorts of images we are talking about. Again, Dr. Seuss Enterprises making this decision. This is from one of the books that will no longer be published called If I Ran the Zoo. Out front now.
Okay, just to be clear, guys, okay, she's just flat out wrong about this. They are not just trying to cancel these 6 books that supposedly have racist imagery. They're clearly trying to cancel Dr. Seuss himself and just ostracize Dr. Seuss himself from ever being seen again, because you saw Joe Biden yesterday, was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday with Read Across America, or was it maybe it was Monday, but Read Across America Day. Joe Biden during Read Across America Day, which is Dr. Seuss's birthday, okay, which is the day where every past president has celebrated or talked about Dr. Seuss, did not even mention Dr. Seuss at all in his stream. I mean, in his speech. So for people to sit here and just lie to you and say, well, it's just about these 6 books. No, they're clearly trying to cancel Dr. Seuss himself. And you'll see, actually, I watched this interview. You see it in the interview coming up, that the person that they interviewed about canceling Dr. Seuss actually contradicts this argument. But just to be clear, folks, it is not just about these 6 books, okay? Evident by the fact that Joe Biden did not even mention Dr. Seuss on Dr. Seuss Day, it's pretty clear that, like, this is about the entirety of Dr. Seuss here, okay? So just wanted to point that out.
Karis Granger Bogwa, who's a longtime English teacher, and wrote an op-ed for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution called Why Schools Should Rethink Dr. Seuss. And you were just so thoughtful about this. And I know there's this tendency to sort of, it's either cancel culture or it isn't. And you've just been so careful about.
Okay, just right off the bat here, can I just point out that these literally look like the two, like, why would you ever want to be in a room with these 2 women? I mean, can I just point that out? Like, these look like the 2 most miserable people to ever have to share a room with in the history of ever. Okay, just look at them. Just look at them. But I'm probably gonna get in trouble for saying that. But everyone knows that it's true. I mean, just come on, really. Why would you
talk about how you received a collection of Dr. Seuss books
right here? We've literally found the 2 people in America who are supporting the canceling of Dr. Seuss right now, and I really don't like either of them. So
soon-to-be-born son, you thought it'd be a great addition to his book collection. I mean, I even remember how my mother, who was not into
soon to be born son. You guys hear that? Okay, I literally feel so like this. The fact that like somebody's kid has to be her kid, literally just proves that, like, God has a very cruel sense of humor here, folks. Okay, because like I just feel so bad for that kid. Like, are you serious? This kid has, oh my God, and I'm pretty sure that lady who's for CNN, whose name I don't know either, I'm pretty sure she's having a kid too, and it's like, oh my God, that is just painful to think about. I cannot believe. I literally feel so bad for these people's kids. I mean, especially their sons. Oh my gosh.
Dr. Seuss, frankly, at all. But when I graduated, I got the book everybody got, right? The places you'll go, right? And I appreciated it. Now you feel differently though about that gift for your son. Tell me why.
I do. So I think there's a lot of learning that's taking place and a lot of
She's an
awareness
English
that is
teacher too, dude. Imagine
happening.
being in her English
I
class.
wasn't as
No.
aware 7 years ago when
No,
I
I
had
just-
my
I
son
literally-
about the racist images
What?
in
Who
a
would
lot of
want
Dr.
to be
Seuss's
stuck-
children's books. But now that I've become more informed, I think that it's worth.
Now that I've become more informed, informed of what? It's a children's book. Like, I'm. This is why, like, I basically accepted now that China's going to overtake us. Okay, like, I'm not even at the point where it's like patriotism. No, so long as these idiots are in charge, okay, we are going to lose like the new Cold War, and it's not even going to be close. Like, it's going to be an absolute landslide. Okay, just want to
thinking through a little bit more and maybe moving towards books that are more inclusive.
Moving towards books that are more inclusive. Get the hell out of here, dude. What is a more inclusive book? Oh, the transgender drag queen story hour book. I shouldn't have said that. It's probably genuinely what they believe, but
more diverse. There are just so many other options that do exactly what Dr. Seuss books have done, that aren't seeped in racist stereotypes, and we can use those and help all children feel included.
So the 6 books that are no longer going to be in.
Bro, most of Jesus Christ, dude, these people actually just hurt my brain. Like, I don't know anymore.
Include, for those who know Dr. Seuss well,
God.
On Beyond Zebra, The Cat's Quizzer, and To Think That I Saw It on Mulberry Street, which has an image of an Asian character wearing a conical hat, holding chopsticks and eating from a bowl.
Oh my God, that the most offensive imagery there ever could be, an Asian person eating with chopsticks. Oh my, this is folks. I mean, this is literally hate speech, right? Like, this is literally the equivalent of a KKK burning a cross outside. I mean, this is like birth of a nation level stuff right here.
Some are going to say these books could be used to teach about racism. That the whole point would be, you show a young child this and explain why it is racist, why this isn't appropriate. Okay. To be fair, I would rather that you just not read the book at all than have these two ladies sit there and try to teach kids about racism using Mulberry Street or whatever the name of that Dr. Seuss book is. I mean, these people hurt my brain. I mean, these people genuinely hurt the hell out of my brain. And man, the response to that,
sad.
So I think there's a time and a place for having those discussions. And I think it is important for children to become aware of our history. And
it is important for children to have discussions over whether Dr. Seuss is racist. She's a teacher. She's an English teacher. Like, that's the worst part of it. She's literally an English teacher. I mean, dude, like, I feel so bad for these people's children. Okay, like the fact that children that is just one of the biggest travesties of our country. The fact that children in America have to have parents like this. I weep for our future.
Some of our racist past. But when children are learning to read and are beginning their love of literature, I think what's more important is that they see themselves reflected in the stories that they're reading, that they're able to build their self-confidence and their self-worth by seeing experiences and stories that tell what they have seen and their experiences. And there's a place for critical analysis of Dr. Seuss's work.
There's a time and place, guys, for critical analysis of Dr. Seuss's. Let's critically analyze the freaking imagery in The Cat in the Hat. These people.
No means do I think that books should be banned. I'm a former English teacher. I believe in literature.
You probably do think books should be banned, though. I mean, you're kind of lying about that.
We can have those discussions and look at Dr. Seuss in a critical and thoughtful and analytical way. But when I'm thinking about my 6-year-old son in first grade or my daughter in preschool, I want them to see books that reflect them. I want them to know that their stories are important and that diversity is important. It should be celebrated. And I don't want them to see themselves reflected as monkeys and apes from Africa. I don't think that's appropriate.
So it was interesting. I was reading a book review about a book about Dr. Seuss today, and I learned something I did not know, Karis. I had not realized how politically aware and motivated he was in a lot of his.
Tasha's exactly right. It's a picture book. Let me move that. It's a picture book. And these people are talking about, we got to critically analyze the imagery seen in Dr. Seuss. No, you don't. No, you literally don't. Shut up. Okay, just shut up. The fact that CNN actually, oh my God,
work, frankly. So in the introduction to a book about Dr. Seuss, his work during World War II, Art Spiegelman, who wrote Mouse, right, explains how Seuss's work, and this is interesting, he writes, quote, would rail against isolationism, racism, and anti-Semitism with a conviction.
Exactly. See, this is the ironic thing about all of this. I forgot to mention this, is the fact that Dr. Seuss himself was literally a liberal. I mean, he was a liberal, and he was a pretty well-known liberal. Read the Lorax, but you can also look at, some of his other writings, and he was a liberal guy. He literally wrote books about trying to teach kids not to be racist here, and it's still not good enough for him. It's still not good enough for these people, right? It doesn't matter. I think the ultimate irony of all of this is the fact that the woke people of today have no perspective. I mean, it doesn't matter. They sincerely believe in their ultimate and unmatched arrogance that they are the only good people to ever exist. They're the only righteous people to ever exist in human history, and everyone that came before them was bad and was immoral, right? Which is it's really an ironic thing to believe, because when it really comes down to it, I mean, we all know this is true. The woke people of 20 to 40 years from now are going to say the exact same thing about the woke people of today. That is just a reality. Yet they lack any perspective. They lack any ability to think about the past or the future. They only believe in the present. Okay, they only believe in the present. So once they cancel everyone, they'll cancel everyone from history, not realizing that the people of future history will cancel them too. It's just, no, we only live in the present, and everyone in the present is good. Everyone that lives before and after is bad. What kind of thinking is that? Well, it's shallow-minded thinking, and But the idea that these are the people who are trying to make policy in our country, the people who are trying to make rules in our country. I mean, take a look at them. Take a look at the way they're behaving. Take a look at what they believe. These are people who fundamentally do not take any consideration in the past. They do not learn from the past, nor do they have any consideration for the future itself, right? They don't consider the past. They don't consider the future. They only consider the present, but they're making the policy and they're making the decisions in this country. That is dangerous. That is very scary to think about. But anyways, let's keep watching this here.
Lacking in most other American editorial pages of the period. He says Seuss railed against Jim Crow, Charles Lindbergh, and the America First policy, which of course has such an echo of what we've seen now in this country.
Oh, wow. Gotta use it against Trump, by the way, guys.
About his anti-Asian tropes specifically. What do you make of all this? I mean, that obviously far from perfect, but the irony that some of what he was doing was to rail against racism.
Yeah, so I don't think becoming anti-racist is a point that you reach and then you stay there. I think this.
Oh, see? She's literally yes, Dr. Seuss did, kind of redeem himself and become an anti-racist, but that still wasn't good enough. He's still racist. We're all still a little bit racist here. Get out. Be quiet.
Work towards becoming anti-racist. This work towards learning and unlearning some things is constantly happening. So by no means do we categorize Seuss as either perfect or imperfect. He grew, perhaps, and that's good. And I think that's what we all need to be striving towards as we.
Oh, he grew, perhaps. Oh, that's good, perhaps. But cancel Dr. Seuss. Wow.
This is more
fantastic.
Anti-racist curriculum.
These people are so stupid. I mean, these people are genuinely low IQ human beings. You can tell by taking a look at these people that they are just sad, deeply unhappy people. Okay, and what's really happening is they're trying to project their unhappiness onto the rest of society, and it's really kind of painful to watch. But these people have power, and that's a sad part of it. And like I said, the worst part about it is not the fact that these people clearly have no perspective on the past or any perspective on the future and only live in the present. The worst part is that they are so ghoulishly obsessed with actually making the policy and driving the decisions in this country. And that is ultimately what is so destructive. So
they have had some thoughts in the past. Those thoughts may change, and that's a good thing. And the work needs to continue. But that's it right there. The work needs to continue. It doesn't stop. And when we know better, we can do better. And we know that
in other words, you're never pleasing these people.
Dr. Seuss had some he had racist images in his books, and we can do better.
sad, deeply unhappy people, okay? Like, clearly not people you would want. I would not want two women like that, like, within 25 feet of my kids, okay? Let me just make that absolutely clear. Someone says in the chat, Sergio says, they better not cancel To Kill a Mockingbird. Oh, they already have, by the way. I believe they already have, right? I think the Burbank School District, which is like 30 minutes from my house, I believe they actually already said you can't do To Kill a Mockingbird anymore. I don't know if it was To Kill a Mockingbird or Huckleberry Finn or both, but I'm pretty sure it was To Kill a Mockingbird from what I remember. So that is what we're at right now, folks. Oh no, page 174 of To Kill a Mockingbird has the N-word canceled. I don't know exactly why they're trying to cancel To Kill a Mockingbird. Maybe that's it. I honestly have no idea. Okay, people are just really very stupid. Okay, like I don't even think they know. Okay. By the way, guys, if you guys didn't hear, they're also trying to cancel Curious George. I don't know if you guys heard about that, but Curious. And that is what I'm more offended of because, you know, growing up, I was never really the biggest Dr. Seuss fan. I mean, I read the books, but it's not, I mean, Curious George, that is personal to me. Okay. Curious George literally was my childhood. And now they're trying to cancel Curious. I think they already are canceling Curious George. And it's like, why? Because it's a monkey being owned by a white owner? Is that the reason why you're canceling Curious George? I wonder who the real racist is here, because I look at that and all I see is a white guy owning a monkey, but you see some type of symbolism in that. So who is the real racist here, folks? Okay, but these people are so stupid. Okay, but again, they are doing this to our kids, and it's like, oh, guys, well, you know, maybe you might think maybe they're gonna replace Dr. Seuss with something like actually better than Dr. Seuss, and the answer is no, they're not. They're trying to replace Dr. Seuss with Drag Queen Story Hour. Okay, that's what they want. They want to replace Dr. Seuss with a gender-neutral, gay, transgender, gender-fluid Dr. Potato Head. Like that. That is what they want. That is what they try to push on your kids. So don't think for a second that when they say, oh, well, we just want to find better role models. No, the better role models mean a drag queen is reading a story to your kindergarten age kids. Okay, that is what they're headed towards. That's what they want. We've already seen that, and like our country, our future is screwed. And this is a big reason why I say, like, dude, we've already lost the battle with China. Okay, because if they teach China, okay, you go to China, they're teaching their kids to be tough. Okay, they have a very rigorous school system. You have to be athletically fit, serve the military, be a patriot of this country. And meanwhile, in America, we're canceling kids' Dr. Seuss books and replacing them with Drag Queen Story Hour. Like, you can kind of see, we might have the upper hand now, but you can kind of see who rules the future here, folks. Okay, and it is not looking good. Okay, like that might be kind of blackpilling, but it's true. But hopefully, like, that encourages some of us to at least raise our kids right. I know, seeing this, I'm like, okay, I'm now extra motivated to like raise my own kids to not be degenerates and freaks like these people are trying to raise their kids to be. But overall, as society, hopefully we can, you know, have some degree to stop this. But like I said, what is ultimately going on here is, like I said, I'm gonna say this again because I think it's like really important to internalize. I think it's actually kind of really insightful is to think what you see in terms of cancel culture, and you see it all the time, is they have no ability to have any perspective when they look at the past, right? They're arrogant, they're selfish, they're self-centered, they're narcissistic because they've kind of been raised to think like that. But the way they see it is this: everyone from the past is bad. Everyone from the past is immoral. But all of us, we are the most righteous people to ever live in human history. Everyone else is stupid but us. So they only live in the present, but they also don't think to the future and realize, hey, maybe when we analyze figures of the past, we should have a little bit of perspective here, because we should also consider the fact that people from the future will probably look down on us as immoral, right? But they don't have perspective for either. They can't think about the past. They can't think about the future. They can only think about the present. That is dangerous. Like, it is self-explanatory as to why that is dangerous. But when you consider the fact that these people want to do that to our kids, want to teach our kids, I weep for our future. I mean, I absolutely weep for our future. I don't know, guys. And it's like, it's so funny because, you know, Dr. Seuss used to be used actually as, Dr. Seuss was a liberal. Obama, like 3 or 4 years ago, I believe, only a few years ago, said that, and because this is mainly because Dr. Seuss was a liberal. Liberals in America used to actually use Dr. Seuss in arguments a lot. A few years ago, Obama said that all you need to learn about politics, you can learn from the lessons in Dr. Seuss. And don't think that was just some accident. He was just saying that to like shout out Dr. Seuss. Dr. Seuss was a liberal guy, and they actually used to praise this guy. All of a sudden now, he was not woke enough for them. So if Dr. Seuss, a liberal from like the 40s, 50s, and 60s, if he was not woke enough for them, then nobody is. Okay, this is what I was talking about: the canceling our entire history, and we are screwed. Okay, we are screwed. Anyways, guys, we're supposed to get our co-host in here in a few minutes, but before we do that, I wanted to actually, you know what? Should we save this for the next stream? I don't know. I feel like we should talk about this anyway before he comes in, and then we'll just add him afterwards. There's been a little bit of drama in the conservative movement. It kind of started. I kind of had to fell out from CPAC. Long story short, basically, you have this fight in conservatism going on between the austere Christian conservatives and I guess what you would call the gay conservatives. And when I say gay conservatives, I'm not just talking about like conservatives who are gay. Like I'm talking specifically like people who use that as like a defining in the movement. And you guys probably know who I'm talking about. People who use that as like a defining part of their identity. And there's been some back and forth. Now, I don't really have a dog in this fight. Okay, I'm not trying to get involved in this. But what I will say, okay, and what I've kind of been noticing in conservatism that's very concerning to me personally, is the fact that Christian conservatives, like devoutly Christian conservatives, I notice are being kind of like outcasted from the movement. Okay, and like let me just say that this is complete political suicide. Okay, because the reality is that Christian conservatives make up like the majority of conservatives. Like we're talking 70% at least, probably like closer to 80 or 90%, but like this is a Christian movement. Okay. American conservatism is rooted in Christianity. And the thing is, you don't have to be Christian necessarily to be in the movement, but you should recognize that like there are the ideological foundations of both America and the American conservatism come from Christianity. And so this attempt to try to ostracize or cancel out Christian conservatives from the movement for just being practicing Christians and believing in their Bible, not only is this just political suicide, because literally you're now alienating. And the funny thing is, like you'll have these LGBT conservatives always say that, oh, conservatism needs to be an open tent. It should be open to everyone. And while it is true that you need a coalition to win, to have numbers and to win, if you're going to make it an open tent, most importantly, it needs to be an open tent for the actually Christian conservatives, okay? Or the devoutly Christian conservatives, whatever. What do you want to say? But what I see happening right now is conservatives are alienating like the majority of conservatism and it's the same thing you see on the left, right? In the Democratic Party, you see that, you know, the woke mob, that is not even the majority of Democrat voters. The majority of Democrat voters are kind of skeptical of it. Like the woke mob is only like 20, 30% of like the Democratic base. And yet you have this tiny little woke mob ruling over the movement. And that's kind of what I see the same thing happening with the LGBT conservatives is you have this very small, more woke-ish, vocal minority trying to basically cancel and outcast who are the majority of the conservative movement, okay? And that is political suicide. It also ignores the fact that America and American conservatism fundamentally is founded off of Christian morality, okay? And again, like I said, you don't have to be a Christian to believe in conservative values or any of that, but you should recognize the fact that, like, this is a Christian country, okay? This is a Christian country, not a Christian government. Obviously, you have a First Amendment, but culturally speaking, the ideological foundations of America root from Christianity, okay? And I don't even think that should be controversial to say, okay? And the same is true, especially in American conservatism, who, you know, seeks to preserve tradition. All I'm going to say about it, folks, okay, is that, because I talked about this on a live yesterday, but all I'm going to say again is that I notice we are alienating the majority of our movement to have this tiny minority that kind of, oh, look at us, we're woke too. And here's the thing. Conservatives will not win by outwoking the left. I mean, we simply won't. The reason why? Let me tell you the reason why is because they will always be more woke than us. They will always beat us at being woke, okay? And I noticed the Trump campaign kind of tried to do this in 2020, where they especially when they tried to appeal to the black community, they would just try to be more woke than the Democrats. They would just say, hey, look, we did criminal justice reform. Look at us, vote for us, guys. See, we're woke too. And it's like, no. Because you're never going to beat the left at being woke, because they'll always go more woke than you. They always come up with something stupider than you. You have to the way you win is by actually countering the wokeness, the woke people. Okay, you have to actually provide a response to that stuff. You have to provide a counter to that stuff, because the reality is most Americans are against wokeness. Okay, most of them, like the woke culture control it controls, as they have control. But numerically speaking, there are not a lot of people, okay? And so the way conservatives need to win is by actually picking up those people, because you're never going to win the woke people, okay? The woke people will never be on board with conservatism, with the Republican Party, but the people who are alienated by that, and there are many Democrats in this country who are actually alienated by the wokeness, okay? You need to appeal to them by saying, we're not like those people. You need to actually differentiate, okay? Because the reality is, it doesn't matter how many times we pass criminal justice reform or start some initiative to protect LGBT rights globally, okay? That stuff doesn't work. You have to provide. They are the kings of pandering. They are the kings of woke nonsense. The way we win is by actually providing substance. Red Eagle Politics is in the chat. He says, outflake them on populism instead. No, exactly. That is another aspect of this. You know, that we have to be the ones that actually stand up to the system, stand up to corporate America, stand up to corrupt bureaucratic government. Like that is our actual role in this. But shout out Red Eagle Politics. He's in the chat. But exactly. Don't virtue signal, get woke, go broke. And it's like, okay, listen, I'm fine with like coexisting. Okay, I'm fine with coexisting. But the second in like a coalition in terms of voting, right? But the second that I see this small woke minority of what I'll call woke conservatives try to cancel the vast majority of Christian, of religious, of traditional conservatives, I see a problem. Okay, so anyways, guys, just wanted to address that real quick before we get there. Here we go, guys. My co-host is finally here, guys. 40 minutes late, ladies and gentlemen. My co-host just magically decides to appear fashionably late as usual, but you guys might recognize this guy. He's what do we call him? Rich Indian friend. Yeah, he is. Shashank is here. We'll call him co-host Shashank. Anyways, what we're probably going to do on these lives is like, I'll like go on my own for like 30 minutes and then like I'll have him hop in just to kind of make it easier and not me have to talk to myself the whole time. But would you like to actually introduce yourself to the viewers? I mean, I know last time I kind of made some racially insensitive jokes. Cut you off. But would you actually like to genuinely introduce yourself this time, sir?
Yeah. Most people probably don't know me. My name is Shashank.
Nobody knows you because you're irrelevant, sir.
Unless you watch the amazing Sound of Dao podcast, then you'd know me. I just shout out to that, of course, because I'm co-host on there. And honestly, it's the best podcast, best investment for your time that you'll ever have. So basically, I'm Shashank. I'm a political analyst guy. I run some campaigns over in Pennsylvania. I'm a grassroots type of organizer guy, and basically Vince couldn't find anybody else for his podcast, so he just put me on here.
This is true.
This is tried to play it off as if I wanted to do it. Like, okay,
yeah, maybe. Yes, you did. You literally did.
Yeah,
okay.
maybe.
You could have just said no. Okay,
maybe.
But yeah.
I'm not one to deny the VinceDao. After all,
this is our co-host, guys. I'm trying to figure out a way to make him like smaller. There you go. Ha. Look at now. Now, folks, we have VinceDao supremacy going on, folks. Okay, look at this. Fantastic.
VinceDao nationalism.
VinceDao nationalism, exactly, guys. By the way, comment in the chat right now. Let me know if you're a VinceDao nationalist or you're a VinceDao imperialist. Okay. Nobody knows what either term actually means, but let me know in the chat. Anyways, by the way, Shashank, see, this is what I'm saying. You are like the least unpopular person ever. As soon as you join, like 10 people leave the stream. It always happens. Okay, like this man is literally destructive to my own my own goals here. Anyways, guys. But last story we're going to talk about on the live before we just go to Q&A or mess around in the chat, whatever, is Andrew Cuomo. So would you, Mr. Co-host, since you clearly know everything and you're clearly the most talented, broadcaster ever, would you just like to take the lead on this one?
Yeah. So recently, Andrew Cuomo's been under a lot of fire. Everybody knows it. It's been a common thing now. And you've just seen people piling on with allegations because that's what happens. It's a downward spiral of a political figure. And this all started with a nursing home scandal, which, of course, the right's been talking about for months. We've heard it since what, like near November of last year, even before that. But now we actually have tangible proof that he was doing it, and all of this massive cover up that it was to cover up nursing home deaths really hit him in the knee right when he was about to launch a political career, because the Dems were setting up Gavin Newsom, Andrew Cuomo for like future political careers. He could have made a bid for president or vice presidential nominee, especially in New York, where he was popular. He was popular up until recently, and
loser.
He's ruined. He's ruined.
Bro,
now.
They've literally stripped him of his emergency power. I actually never thought I would live to see this day, because they have covered for Cuomo for so long. Okay, because this nursing home, I mean, it looks worse now. Like, we're getting new information. Like, they covered it up. He literally tried to go full Guido Mafia guy on Ron Kim, right? But like, this story has been around for a while, and yet Democrats have just covered for it. Okay, they covered for it. They try to defend him on it. They try to pretend like it doesn't exist. Yet suddenly now all this, it kind of makes me think maybe it's simply because Trump is out of office now, and so now they no longer need to use Cuomo as like the de facto presidential candidate instead of Joe Biden, which they kind of were trying to do. But I never thought that I'd see the day where they're actually holding Andrew Cuomo accountable, and it makes me wonder what their actual motives are here. I think it's because now that they're done, it's like, and listen, Democrats don't care about each other, okay? Like, they're the least loyal people to one another you will ever find in your life. Never trust a Democrat, okay? Let me see. NTAD, never trust a Democrat, okay? What they're trying to do now, I think, is the reason why they suddenly changed is because now you have all these Democrats in the state of New York who are gunning for the governorship. Okay, so now that like the election is over, Trump's out of office. Okay, now we can throw out the Andrew Cuomo is a Saint Savior thing. Now all of a sudden, now they're just trying to. Now everyone's gunning for his head. So
yeah, you'll see this downward spiral that's happening is not new in the party. Whenever someone is not useful to them, and if they have any dirt on them, they'll immediately get eaten by all the sharks, and you'll see the vultures just start circling above them. And of course, they'll probably want to put a new Democratic governor into position in New York, and Cuomo's just really dead weight now. He's not looking like he's going to make a good presidential run. All these allegations really just derailed any chance of that in the Democratic Party.
Oh, he's not making. He will be lucky to even survive this term, dude. Like, it is now a genuine possibility that Andrew Cuomo might get kicked out of office. But someone in the chat brought up a very good point, which is very funny, is that his brother Chris Cuomo will not cover him anymore. And I think that's absolutely hilarious, because the thing is, yes, it is true that like it is your brother, but the thing is, he should have never been covering his brother to begin with. That is a violation of journalistic integrity. If your brother is a politician somewhere, you shouldn't have been covering him at all. You should have just not been talking about him. But instead, back when things were going well for Andrew Cuomo and Andrew Cuomo was popular, you had all these segments of the brother rivalry on CNN where, now they were more than happy to talk about Andrew Cuomo back then, and Chris Cuomo was more than happy to interview his brother. But now, all of a sudden, right? All of a sudden, now that it's negative, now he won't talk about his brother. I mean, if you're gonna cover your brother, you got to cover your brother when it comes to both. So I think that's it's a little bit of leftist hypocrisy. I mean, are the leftists engaging in hypocrisy? But no, seriously, like it is kind of a disgrace to journalism. What I've seen with that.
Their segment on CNN, it was the most cringe thing I think I've ever watched.
With the big ass what was that thing? The nose swab that's like this big. They're so funny, guys. Oh, Guido 1 and Guido 2 here.
Wow, we're relatable mafia figures. Goes to show that not even a CNN prop-up will save a governor from imminent defeat.
Yeah, absolutely. What were you gonna say?
Yeah. I don't think he's gonna survive next election. I don't even think he's gonna run.
No, he's not gonna run. I think the open question now, he's not gonna run for anything ever again. I think the open question is, will he survive the term? Like that. Yeah. That is I'm kind of curious to see. But real quick before we go to questions and just messing around segment, because that is really what Shashank is here to do. Like, I just want someone to bully and pick on. So that is what he is really here for. Before we go to that, real quick, folks, we're going to talk about HR 1 real quick. Literally, the single. It's actually, if I'm not mistaken, this passed the House, correct? Actually passed the House.
Let me check. I haven't been keeping up on it just because of how it hurts me to read it. It actually hurts me to read it.
It is insanity here, folks. So But anyways, he's gonna look up whether it passed. I'm pretty sure it did. But this is genuinely like probably the most insane bill to ever be passed or soon to be passed, like in the history of the United States Congress here. Okay, so first of all, this is a highly unconstitutional bill because it overrides state election laws, and the Constitution clearly says that states are supposed to make their own election laws and conduct their own election procedures. But they want to get rid of. So this bill, like single-handedly, gets rid of voter ID. It allows for same-day voter registration everywhere. Felons voting, and I believe that's a tip of the iceberg. I believe it probably also says something about mail-in voting, but I didn't want to mention that because I don't remember if it said that. But yeah, in short, get rid of voter ID. Like nationally, we're not just talking like, the state of California doesn't want to do it. Congress is telling all states with HR 1 to get rid of voter ID, let felons vote, and same day voter registration. So you show up to the polls, you don't even check you, don't even verify. Here you go, register to vote. Not even verify your identity. That's what HR 1 is. So as if they needed extra help. Now they're basically setting up so they can straight up. I'm going to say it. Okay. Deplatform if you want so that they can cheat as easily as possible. Okay. It's literally just rigs election for the Democrats, but it does it on a national scale. This is like overriding the Constitution itself. So, did it actually pass?
I looked up if it passed. I haven't seen anything on it. I just know that it's on the floor this week and they're expected to vote. It's going to pass in the House, of course, but in the Senate, Mitch McConnell, Mr. Turtle Man, well, luckily said it's not going to pass. So I guess we have one thing to thank the devil for. But yeah, if the Senate Republicans oppose it, all they need is one Democrat to oppose it, which is most likely Joe Manchin or Sinema from, I believe, Arizona. And that thing is doomed. It's doomed. Because without all 50 Democrats, Kamala Harris cannot break the tie, and that will not pass the Senate.
Well, that is in case some stupid Republican like Mitt Romney just magically says, you know what? This sounds like a great idea, guys. Okay? Like CNN will criticize me if I don't. That is basically Mitt Romney's political ideology at this point. I've basically been able to figure out. If CNN will criticize me for voting no on this, then I will vote yes on this. That is basically what he believes. Anyways, guys, that basically wraps up the news for this stream. So we'll just go to the chats. You guys should send in super chats. Even though I read it if it's not a super chat, I appreciate it more if it's a super chat. Super chats are epic. Okay, money is great. All right, I'm not rich like this guy. I'm not like a rich a Playboy investor. What's the Indian Playboy investor like this guy is. So be sure to send in those super chats. Okay, folks, it'd be greatly appreciated. But we'll go over the chat right now.
Yeah, guys, send in money so Vince can pay for his ticket to CPAC.
Well, I was able to pay, but to reimburse for the ticket to CPAC. Yes, indeed, folks. Yes, indeed. VinceDao allowance fundraiser. Yeah, dude, I literally make no money from YouTube because they first of all they barely let me monetize ever. Everything is just demonetized. Okay, every single one of my videos, I have to literally request their appeal for every single video. Most of the time, it doesn't even get through. EJ says, "Sorry, Emperor, I am too broke for that." All right, well, folks, then it's you have to pay taxes to live in the empire. Okay, we throw up people who don't pay their taxes in jail. Obviously, in general, taxes are bad, but when I'm the person that receives the taxes are good. Okay, that's the rule of life.
Oh, Vince, Polly says they super chatted you, but you ignored it. Can't believe it.
Oh, right. Well, I didn't see it, dude. I was looking at the camera. All right. Well, I'm sorry about that, Polly. You can say it again. You can send it again. You can send it again. Well, I mean, it was unfortunate. Okay, so if you want me to see it again. Send in another one. No, but serious, I do apologize, Paulie does games. Taxation without representation. You are all represented because you are all residents of the VinceDao Empire. Okay, so you are all represented. That is the absolute truth here. Okay, so I mean, you might say that you're not being represented, but you are being represented because I represent you. Okay, represent all of you.
This guy called America First says, do you think Manchin will vote for HR 1? That's currently up in the air. We don't know what Manchin will do. He's a West Virginia Democrat, which is like the 80s version of Democrats, which no one knows what they do anymore. We haven't seen them since the 80s or 90s, since Bill Clinton. We haven't seen that type of Democrat. His policies are very different from modern Democratic policies. We don't know what he's going to do about this bill because this bill is about a topic that's been really not in the main public sphere. So we don't know what his opinion is on election security, election expansion, that sort of thing. We have no idea. So this is totally up in the air. Also, it's
I think I'm pretty sure he'd probably vote no on it because it's not even really constitutional. I mean, it overrides the ability of state legislatures to determine their election laws. And I let's hope Manchin has some common sense here, but we'll have to see. All right, Goose says Goose is the best. I still don't know what this means. This guy has been saying Goose has been saying this since like August, and I still don't know what it means. But he's giving you money. I'm just gonna say yes, because the money has been sent. I'm gonna say yes. I endorse. I avow. I am fully on board with this. Okay, Vince Dow endorses Goose being the best role, folks. But anyways, you know what? I forgot to play this. Let's just watch this. Here's a really funny video I saw of Tucker Carlson trying to debate some former official from the State Department over intervention in Syria, and I know Shank is he's kind of a cringe interventionist at times. But
I end the endless wars, Vince. We need to end the endless wars.
Whoa! By what means, sir? Huh? By what?
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. Vince. I have no idea what you're talking about.
I'm just kidding. Okay, disavow. Shank is an epic.
At a time when
he's an epic America First isolationist.
Yeah, based and red pilled.
Except when it comes to invading Pakistan. I mean, no, never mind.
The threat to the country clearly is China. By every measurement possible, we're energy independent. We don't need to focus on the Middle East. And yet we're still wasting the time of the U.S. military, the attention of our think tanks, the public's precious attention span on the Middle East and Syria. Tell me why this is wise.
Well, let me give you some perspective. First of all, President Trump did an airstrike in Syria. And
that's how I noticed they always answer the same way. It's literally always, let me give you some perspective. Whenever they're trying to justify like a very stupid foreign policy decision, it's always like, well, you just don't understand. Okay, you just don't. Here's why invading half the world is actually beneficial for us.
April 2017. He did another one in April 2018 and another in December. 2000.
Goose sent in a $10 super chat. He says, let me try to get this out of the way. Can you give me a royal pardon from the Vince Dow Discord server? Also love your content and support you 1000%. Well, yes. See, the Vince Dow empire is very corrupt. So the fact that you have sent me money and are now requesting a pardon, you absolutely receive a royal pardon from me. Like that is how it works. Okay. Pay money, you can basically pay off any charges that were done against you if I like you, and I do like Goose. So yes, you hereby receive a pardon from me. Whatever trouble you're in the Discord server, tell them that I've overridden it, and he has paid his pardon. He has paid off his bounty, and he is good, folks. Okay, so
19.
I didn't even know you had a Discord server.
They were justified and proportional. I spoke about them. I wrote about them. I supported them. To your credit, you were against all of them. So we've both been consistent. But we have a divide here. It's really not about Syria policy and the details of Syria and what's happening in Syria and Iraq. It's really about what should America's role in the world be. I happen to think that we can continue to project power abroad and that we have to have our diplomats and soldiers stationed in places abroad in order to do that. And when they get attacked, as they did on February 15th in northern Iraq by Shia militias, it's appropriate for us to respond as Biden did, just as Trump did in December 2019.
Wait, may I say, and leaving
Tucker's
aside,
doing
and
the face.
I'll even gloss over your claim that it was justified. Of course, the State Department lied about the pretext for the first missile strike. But leaving that aside, China is humiliating the United States globally. It is colonizing the entire continent of Africa and the Caribbean right at our shores. It is humiliating American diplomats by giving them unnecessary rectal swabs. It is a threat to the entire globe.
They're screwing us in the ass.
And we do nothing. When a Syrian militia lobs rockets into Iraq, we pounce. This is a question of focus. You can't fix every problem. Why aren't we focusing on the real problem? Why are we wasting time in the Middle East?
Well, I happen to think we can walk and chew gum at the same time. So we can deal with the Middle East, and we can also deal with China. And I do agree with you that China is really our biggest rival, especially going forward. But right now, China isn't supporting groups that are directly firing rockets at our personnel. So we have to respond to that in Syria to protect our personnel. We also should be doing things to prepare for a potential battle for China in the future in the places like you mentioned, in Africa, where it truly wants to expand and where
Don't worry, guys. We actually are preparing for future battles for China by teaching critical race theory to our military and drag queen story hour for our kids. See, now they are true. We are truly going to be a country of might and fury in the next 10 years. Absolutely.
Wants to put its vision of government, a kleptocracy, in place, and we have to fight them not just with our economy, not just with our U.S. aid, and not just with foreign investment, but also with an ideology of democracy and freedom, which is a countering ideology to the one that China wants to put in place across the world.
We're supine, we're servile, our generals retire and serve China. Our largest corporations profit from China.
Very true, dude. America be like, oh, we're spreading democracy and freedom to the world, yet we're killing our democracy and our own freedom here at home. Seems like there's increasingly less and less of a difference between us and China, but that's none of my business. But anyways,
political class refuses to criticize China. So nothing you're saying has actually happened or going to happen, as we both know. But let me just back up to the Middle East because it's the region in question tonight. Why do we have troops in Iraq? We haven't improved Iraq. We haven't improved the United States by keeping them. Why do we think this will be different from every other Middle Eastern country we've been engaged in? All of which wind up worse. We wind up poor. Americans wind up dead.
True.
Why do we keep doing this?
True.
Well, first of all, we have far less troops in Iraq than we have at most other times in the last 18 years.
You can thank Trump for that.
So I served in Iraq with the State Department 2006 and 2007. We had 145,000 troops at the end of 2007. We now have 2,500. So, you know, a little less than 3% of what we have any.
No, but hold on. But why do we? No, it's a sincere question. We killed people in Syria, spent a lot of money, focused attention on the country of this. Biden gets to go brag about it. Because an American contractor apparently was killed there, apparently by an Iran-backed militia. Why was that contractor there in the first place? What are we getting out of it?
Well, there are lots of reasons. First of all,
what we're getting out of it, guys, is they're having gender programs in the Middle East, guys. I mean, listen, also, we're spreading our democracy, right? The democracy and the freedom that clearly America is so good at and that we are simply the masters of. Okay, we are the masters of democracy, folks. I mean, we're just so good at freedom, guys. You know, that's what they're getting out of it, guys. Doesn't matter if they actually want it or not, or it's clearly not working. That's what we built a gas station there for like $45 million and it never got finished building. Okay, so you can see we're clearly doing better, and it's clearly helping the United States because we don't know, but that gives you the foreign policy thinking in Washington for the past few decades. Our Indian friend is back. Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Hello, sir.
I was listening to that guy, and I kind of like zoned out because I was so done with just everything he was saying. Like for some points, he made a genuine point that it can't be just boiled down to just pull all our troops out. But we need to pull it out in a
Why not? Why not? Base, pull all of our troops out. Epic. Let the Middle East screw itself. Base.
What are you now? Vince? Obama, Mr. Pull all the troops out of Iraq and then cause ISIS. Yeah. Look how well that went. But I agree with eventually pulling all our troops out within a span of over probably 5 to 10 years. That's probably a reasonable goal. But people like him, they always make excuses for why they can't pull troops out. They say project power abroad. We can project power from our aircraft carriers. There is no need to have these people there. And if there are, we can use other people's bases. We don't have to station our troops in a foreign country where they are attacked. Like he's saying, he's basically using them as little body dummies so that when they get attacked, he can attack back and then keep on producing weapons and more money for the military-industrial complex, which all the politicians in Washington are paid for. It's crazy that people like him even have a voice here because they're bought and paid for by the military-industrial complex who could care less about the American soldier in Iraq and cares more about how much they can charge the government for their new missile.
Can I just point out real quick that, you know, if you want to make a metaphor about this guy basically being stuck in 1990s foreign policy, I mean, just look at the guy. Just look at the guy. He looks like your stereotypical journalist from like the late 90s, early 2000s. Just want to point that out. Like, you know, you can tell what time period this guy's stuck in, both ideologically and physically. But anyways,
we have troops there to fight ISIS, and ISIS is still in northern Iraq and in Syria. And ISIS is an existential threat to the U.S., to our interests. It can strike at Americans. It's also an existential threat to our way of life.
Wait, what did he say about ISIS?
Hold on, wait.
I believe he said it's an existential threat.
ISIS is in the tiniest pockets it's been in all of history. They're getting beat on more by Assad, the dictator of Syria. They're being beat on more by Assad than us. So I don't know what the point he's making here. They're literally almost exterminated. They only pop up in like southern Libya in like one town and like that has like one well. They're not a threat. They're not a threat anymore. Trump, and to his credit, some of the late Obama era officials, even though Obama did not do much on ISIS, he basically created the problem in the first place. Mostly the Trump administration destroyed ISIS. It was crazy. And now this man's saying, oh, we need to go back. He's probably going to try to justify another intervention into Iraq and Syria by saying, oh, ISIS is a big threat, even when they probably control like 2 wells. That's literally the extent of their control.
But that's what these people do. It's always something. It's always something. Oh, the reason we can't pull out of the Middle East is because of ISIS or Al-Qaeda or whoever it is. And it doesn't matter. It's just ICE. And, we've been through the war on terror, so these are like names that we don't like to hear. Like we just naturally like, oh, ISIS, that's bad. We couldn't possibly want that. But it's like you look at it and it's like, what threat does ISIS still pose? But like I said, stuck in the 1990s physically and mentally. So
wait, hold on, slow down. How is ISIS an And I'm not putting in a good word.
See, Tucker is we are Tucker, and Tucker
means to threaten the existence of something. An existential threat is something that threatens to end you. How does ISIS pose an existential threat to the United States?
Because ISIS in 2014 and 2015 set up an Islamic caliphate that
exactly. These people are stuck in the past. What did he say? He said in 2014 and 2015. That was his response.
Yeah.
No ability to think, oh, well, what's happening? No, it's again stuck in the past.
To take over the Middle East and Europe. They had plans at one time to try and attack Italy. They killed many Americans, as you know.
I'm sorry.
They took thousands of people hostage.
I'm not flacking for ISIS. I'm just saying, when you say they pose, let's use words carefully because we're talking about human lives and American policy here. They're not an existential threat to the United States. There's only one country that's an existential threat. There's only one country that can make my family obey, and that's China, as you well know. So again, I know everybody in foreign policy world was trained, like the previous generation was trained to focus on Russia, the next on the Middle East. Why can't we wake up and face the actual threats right in our face rather than refighting wars that we've lost?
Okay, while Vince is gone,
saying that we should only focus on one threat and ignore all of the others.
He and Dick Cheney are the one who created this whole military, not created, but empowered the military-industrial complex. Like Dick Cheney was handing out contracts for war in Iraq to his friends. You can watch the movie War Dogs if you're old enough
the bandwidth to fix the war. And by the way, can you name one city in the United States, the Democratic Party? I don't want to be partisan or anything. I'm just being honest. This is a war cheered on by Democrats. Name one city in the United States they've improved. Just one. Go ahead. I'll wait.
My hometown, Cincinnati. It's run by Democrats.
Huh. That's a pretty nice town, I got to say. Okay, I'll give you Cincinnati.
Cincinnati.
I can't think of any others.
Thank you.
Cincinnati, dude.
Yeah, no, it's actually
Cincinnati nationalism.
That is a nice city, not a very left-wing city. But we have dozens of other cities that are actually crumbling. We have a country that's on the verge of some kind of economic event that probably won't be welcomed by most people. We have a country that's getting poorer, and yet this is like the thing that Biden does on his 36th day in office?
But we don't have to give up foreign policy in order to improve our domestic policy.
Well, it would help. It would help a little bit.
I mean, he's not wrong there, but he's also making a point for something that has no relation to what he's saying. Like, oh, we don't have to give up foreign policy to focus on domestic policy. Like, yeah, we don't. But like, why are we in Syria? Like, can we leave? Hello. It doesn't make any sense.
We have talent to do that.
Is Iraq better? Is Afghanistan better? Is Libya better? Is Yemen better? Is any country in that entire region better
Somalia
for our intervention in it?
Well, the problems in these countries, pre-existed American intervention. And American intervention didn't always improve or make things better. Also, the interventions by colonial powers, the UK, France, also didn't always make it better.
Then why are we doing it?
But some of these problems would have existed without us being there.
Okay,
what we should all be moving toward is improving all of the world, including the Middle East. But the Middle East does affect us. It affects our economic security, it affects our energy policy, and it affects, most importantly, our security. As you know, Al-Qaeda came out of Afghanistan. ISIS came out of Syria and Iraq.
Right. I can only take one overstatement at a time, so I'll end with this one. You say that energy policy, for generations that I lived here then, We were told we were only enmeshed in the Middle East because we were dependent upon their oil. We needed their energy. Now we don't. We're energy independent. The same people who told us that are trying to prevent us from using our own reserves, domestic reserves of energy, and again make us dependent on other nations, whether it's China for clean energy technology or the Middle East for petro energy. And I'm a little confused by that. Why shouldn't we take a victory lap and say we can heat our own homes, we can fuel our own cars, we don't need you?
It is great that we are energy independent, and that is something that is going to improve our security, and it's something that the Middle East has taken notice of. They realize that we're not going to depend on their oil forever. The rest of the world is not going to depend on their oil forever.
We don't need to depend on it now.
But their oil does, still does impact the economic markets, and it is still important. The flow of that oil is still important, and if economic markets that depend on it in Europe, in Africa, in Asia lost it or went up so much that it increased prices and made it harder for them to buy American products, it would impact our economy as well. So the whole
Yes. So basically, he's talking about this just price fluctuating the whole market. But what he doesn't understand is that we are energy independent. For countries that are energy independent, this would not affect them at all because they are autark, because they depend on their own oil. So if OPEC or whoever these Middle Eastern countries stop giving their oil out, or we shift away from their oil, which we already have, and we stopped trying to go in for oil, the only price fluctuations that would happen would be in either countries that wouldn't be affected too much by it, like the African nations, because their oil reserves usually come from Africa and not the Middle East, even though, and in addition, 85% of the oil going through the Strait of Hormuz out of the Gulf of Iran and out of the Persian Gulf, goes to China. So who would be hurt most in this situation? China. China takes 85% of that oil. So why are we intervening on their behalf when they are the primary users of this oil? This is fueling their war industry. This is fueling their expansion. This is fueling their colonialism. So why do we need to subsidize it? We're basically subsidizing the rise of China. It makes zero foreign policy sense.
The Shank just destroyed Biden administration with pure facts and logic right there. That was brilliant, sir. Let's just finish this up real quick.
Economy is interdependent, and Middle East oil is part of that.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not convinced that anyone is thinking about the best interests of our country, and that's frustrating. But I appreciate your coming on. David Teferi, thank you.
Thank you, Tucker.
From an official, he joined.
Okay, so see, here's the thing, ultimately, is that, I think it's all sort of an excuse, right? Joe Biden we are energy independent kind of as of the moment, but you can clearly see that Joe Biden is trying to shift us away from that. He has a 60-day moratorium on new oil drilling. He's adding a ton of new regulations, making it way harder to drill oil in America, which is, obviously what used to be pretty easy under Trump. And so they think the ultimate goal here is this. So obviously on the surface, he says that it's because of climate change, you guys. We're gonna save the world from climate change by destroying our own oil industry. But at the same time, Joe Biden clearly recognizes that we're not going to suddenly be the Jetsons and drive around cars on vegetable oil. But at the same time, while he can appease these climate activists at home, the globalist multinational elite that really controls him, that he truly ultimately answers to in the end, he gets to go to them and say, look, now we have the excuse. Now let's stay in the Middle East. And they're like, yes, now we have it. Because energy independence that you saw under Trump, and you see a goal of, sort of the America First movement, that is the single biggest threat to wars in the Middle East there is. Because we all know at their core, all these wars in the Middle East are wars over oil. Okay, that's at their core. Maybe Afghanistan is a little bit of an exception. Maybe that's the one exception. But most of these wars are being fought over some type of interest in the oil industry. And so the fact that America is energy independent is really making it hard for us to justify this continued relationship with the Middle East. Now, the globalists want us to stay reliant on the Middle East. They don't want America to be able to produce its own oil and to be sort of nationalistic in its own oil production. And so that's why they like killing the American oil industry, and so do the climate change activists. I've said this a million times, but it's really just the truest point.
Yeah, and if you look at their their justifications for the Middle East, you can see that they shift the goalposts so many times. First, Iraq was weapons of mass destruction under Bush. That was total lie, total fabrication. He did not have weapons of mass destruction. Then you say, oh, we're in there for humanitarian purposes. Then you say, oh, we're cleaning up ISIS. And now this man and the rest of it, the only justification that they can use is the original reason why they were there, for the oil. That's the only thing they can do. And it makes no sense now because we are energy independent as a nation, as you said. So there is zero reason for us being in Iraq. We should stabilize the country. And if it can't be stabilized, we should pull out, because if it can't be stabilized and we're staying there, it's no different from if it can't be stabilized and we're not staying there. Other than the fact that we're sacrificing innocent Americans in a fight that they don't want to be in.
Nope, and America is very terrible at nation building. Okay, let me say that right now. And fundamentally, the core reason for this is that we as Americans are not good. We are actually like the worst. People always call America like this imperialist nation, but we're actually pretty terrible imperialists. And a big reason for that is we're never actually honest with ourselves, right? Past empires, that's like, we're conquering you, we're taking you over, but we know we're doing it, okay? Like that, and that's our goal. And so they go all the way and they actually try to subjugate and control people. But America, we have too much of a bleeding heart. So we'll try to do this like half imperialism where we're like, but we're really doing it to spread democracy and to spread freedom. And because we can't be honest with ourselves, it always turns out poorly every single time. That's not an argument for imperialism. I'm not saying that we should just go full British Empire and everyone and just like colonize the Zulus here, okay? What it is to say is that our crappy attempts at nation building are going to fail and fail time and time again, mainly because we're struggling to nation build currently in our own country, and it's really not our place to be nation building in other places. But on top of that, we are just not good imperialists. We're not honest imperialists. We actually have too much humanitarianism in us, too much of a heart to actually do a good job of it. And so it is not something that we should just be doing at all. Teddy Roosevelt is triggered now, but it is true. We're not good imperialists as Americans. We're actually pretty terrible at it.
Vince Dow is a jingoist imperialist wanting to colonize other nations. Confirmed.
What? Says you, sir?
Dude, I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about. Segment you guys saw, I was like, let's get out. And he's like, well, let's get out, but like in 5 to 10 years. No, 5 to 10 years turns into 20 to 40. Anyways, guys, we will.
Oh, no, you got a donation. You got a super.
I got a donation.
WMD was semi-justified. Iraq had multiple missiles that could deliver to Italy. My dad saw them in Iraq. Yeah, but that's not weapons of mass destruction. Biowarfare, I would agree. But other nations in the Middle East had already been using biological warfare. We had used biological warfare. And I don't think that's justification to overthrow the entire structure of a country, especially when the report that Colin Powell gave to the UN deliberately did not mention those sorts of weaponry. They did mention a bit about biological warfare, but they made some absurd claims that were just straight up not true. And he also asked, Rich Indian, are you pro-capitalist? Of course I'm pro-capitalist. How else would I accrue all my money, all my wealth without being a capitalist? Think I want socialist redistribution to pay for Vince Dow's travel tickets now? I'm paying for his stupid life decisions.
Oh, my stupid life decisions.
Your stupid.
You know what? You know what? Give me a second here. Let me hold on really quickly. Let me airdrop those particular photographs that I plan to display on the stream, and you can just like talk about whatever for the next 20 seconds. Wow.
Okay. Well, is there anything that chat wants to ask me? No. Quick before Vince gets back. Quick. Vince Dow boxing match. I'd gladly box Vince, but I think he's just scared that he'll lose. For being honest here,
bro. You think I'm scared of your like lanky freaking? Dude, I will literally punch that unibrow like right off your face.
Do you want to try, Vince? Do you want to try next time we meet? We're going boxing. It's gonna be live.
Next time you're meeting, you mean never.
God, I don't know. You're talking 2022, Vince. 2022.
Oh my gosh, dude, this guy is like the king procrastinator, guys. That's like the inside joke we're talking about right now, because he says he's going to do all this ambitious stuff politically, and he just never gets it started, and that's kind of the joke here. Yeah. But anyways, guys, here finally I have arrived, sir. I've arrived. So we've actually started an organization known as it's not we. Okay, I shouldn't say that because that would be considered kind of illegal to say that. But we've started a fake organization here called a Turning Point DAO, and it's basically what it is a smear campaign against
untrue. That right there. So that right there is factually untrue.
Dear Shashank, you claim to be a populist, but you're literally the least popular kid at your school. Curious, huh? Curious. And that's a quote by Vince Dao, who's the founder and president of Turning Point DAO. We have an even better one right here, folks. Dear Shashank, you claim you can win female voters, but you can't even get a girlfriend. Sounds like hypocrisy to me, sir. Are you engaging in leftist hypocrisy here? Or are you about to be exposed by TP DAO right here, okay?
I don't like this. This is all propaganda.
Savagely with facts, logic right there, okay?
Ministry of Truth.
Curious, sir. Curious.
Ministry of Truth.
Curious, folks.
Vince, look at all these messages in the chat from me, not you. Look, they're asking me questions. They love me.
Because you literally said ask me questions.
I don't know what you're talking about. There's no, that didn't happen. No.
Mario, who is is he a mod in the Discord? So how do blind people know when to stop wiping? See, this is a really good question. Okay, I think this is probably the best question of the night. Should have been sent in as a super chat so I could give it more priority, but it is what it is. This is still a very high quality question here. That is a good question. I don't know. How do they know? Like, do they just like try to feel it? Like, you can kind of feel it a little bit, but I don't know how exactly you do that when you're blind. This is actually a really solid philosophical question here. I believe that I believe I'd like to see some scientists actually try to study this.
Yeah, we could probably get the government to commission a study for maybe like $20 million for it.
Yeah, we probably could. It'll just be part of the next stimulus package.
Okay, let me answer these questions. Natalie says, thoughts about socialist Nordic countries. They're not socialist. So that's a big misconception that Bernie Sanders and the left likes to push. They're welfare states that are going to collapse with the amount of refugees they're taking in. Thoughts on Marjorie Taylor Greene? I mean, I guess she's okay. She kind of messes up the party image sometimes, but I guess she's a savage. I mean, I don't really know. Like, she does what she wants. She's from, Florida, right? Is she from Florida?
She's from Georgia.
Oh, Georgia. Well, close enough. They're right there.
Dude, listen. Wacky Facebook posts. Some of them are a little wacky. But overall, pretty epic. Congresswoman.
Yeah. EJ says, rich Indian exposed. Very exposed. Very, very exposed.
Ryan Dole says he's expecting comebacks in next stream. You're not literally he cannot come back. Okay.
No. I'm making no.
Turning Point DAO. I mean, Turning Point DAO single-handedly has destroyed this man's reputation.
Turning Point Shank. That's what I'm calling. Turning Point Shank. We're gonna destroy you next stream.
You shall try. You shall try.
Yeah. Guys, next Wednesday. Remember, streams every Wednesday, 9 p.m. EST. EJ says, oh no, I already said that one. What else? Oh, Goose, your amazing donator, Goose, who just gives up his whole life savings to you, says, rich Indian, if you could be in any time period economically, what would it be? Like time period or like I don't really understand the question. Like, is it time period or like just like a financial crisis? Because I'd like to be in 2008. Because then I just buy up the whole market after it crashes, like a real capitalist does. Yeah. And he asks, is Donald Trump your favorite president? No, that would be Calvin Coolidge, I think.
You stole that from me.
No. I like Calvin Coolidge way before you did, Vince. Way before you did. Yeah, it's an objective reality.
No, you cringe Junior, dude. This is why you never trust a Junior, okay? Literally, freaking Junior over here.
You, Mr. Senior.
A random boy says, "Hey, I'm about to cop myself a Discord pardon too." All right, listen. Hey, look.
What is this Discord?
You gotta buy your freedom here, okay? You gotta buy your freedom. I mean,
Damn, Vince is a slaveholder confirmed.
That is factually untrue, Shank. Okay, that
I don't know.
Disavow. Okay, I disavow such ridiculous claims. Okay. Slavery is deeply immoral. It is clearly a democrat institution. Okay, I would never embrace such ridiculous ideas. Goose says, "What decade would you be in?"
Oh yeah, 2008 specifically, so I could buy up everything after the crash. It's amazing, get the benefits of modern technology, and also you literally become a billionaire off of just the housing market that collapses in on itself. Ephraim Varkey, do you think Donald Trump would be too old to run for president in 2024? He will be as old as Biden. No, he's not going to be as old. A man is literally bawling with speeches without a teleprompter at this age, which Biden couldn't even do 4 years ago. Nevertheless, now.
No, see, the thing is, it's not really about age. It's just about your mental acuity. Because like Bernie Sanders is a year older than Biden, and Bernie Sanders is fully awake and aware and alert, unlike Joe. I think it's just a matter of like how fast you go and how smart you were to begin with, which Joe was not the smartest human being to begin with. But overall, it's about the amount of energy you have. And I think Trump is someone who will just literally just have energy like until he freaking dies. Like he's just that type of person. So I think it should be fine.
Oh, Vince, Goose is saying your pardon isn't working. Vince Dow mods on VBS
tell them, look, the pardon has been sanctioned. Okay, so
just send them the stream link. Just send them the stream link and ask them to watch it, and then they'll see.
Yeah, you can like screen record. Like I did grant you the pardon, Goose. So it'll be fine. Please do not break the rules of the server ever again. Okay, I don't want to see any inappropriately banned expletives in my server. Okay, that is you must follow the rules. Okay, so
are you even in the Discord?
This is a pardon for past offenses, but it is not a pardon for future offenses. Okay, that's not how this works. Okay, I am the only one who's allowed to break the rules of my own server, but I would never utter such disgusting expletives. I don't even know what you were kicked for, but just in case.
He said Lil T Stark. Oh, we got a PaleoCon in here, Vince. Democracy is cringe. Would you guys identify as paleo? No.
Democracy is cringe.
No. You know what I'd identify as? Yo, Vince, pop out the popcorn emoji. Pop out the popcorn emoji. Or popcons.
Where are my Doyle fans at? Let's go.
Despite what Vince says, he's not a paleo conservative. He just likes riding paleo conservatives until.
It depends what you define it as. I probably am more like a paleo libertarian. Like in terms of definitions, I'm probably closer to what I am.
No, popcons for the win. Populist.
Well, populist conservative is sort of like such a subjective term. What does that even mean? Like,
is there a popcorn emoji? There is. Okay, I'm gonna send in the chat. Also, I've been saying you have like a foot fetish for like the entire live stream. I think your mods like muted me like 20 times by now. It's amazing.
Bro, they cannot. What is going on here, folks? Okay,
you need to get on the Discord and whip them into shape, Vince. It doesn't look like they respect your authority. Your Discord mods just disobeying you. I cannot believe it.
This is a bit of a civil war. This is a what's it called? This
Vince
is
Dow Discord insurrection
clause.
Vince Dow crackdown on Discord server rebellion.
Paleo libertarian. That's an dude. I don't even like. I literally
paleo libertarian. I
call myself a conservative. Okay, but like that's just what people. That's what you really. I consider myself to be a conservative, but that's about it. Okay?
He's a popcorn. He just doesn't like using the popcorn emoji.
I whatever you want to say it, dude. But
he doesn't like using the popcorn emoji though. He thinks it's cringe. I think it's amazing though, to be honest.
Okay. Let's do a poll here, guys. This guy literally wants to make the symbol of populist conservatives be popcorn, and make it a popcorn.
It's so easy to say. No, like you got PaleoCon, you got NeoCon, now you got PopCon, and it sounds like popcorn. So you just put a popcorn emoji.
That's literally the stupidest crap I've ever heard, dude. Popcorn.
No, popcorn.
Look, I'm a popcorn.
What else do you want to call it? A con pop? That just sounds worse. It sounds worse. Yeah, look in the chat. Everyone's spamming popcorns.
How about just say it's a populist conservative? Okay, that literally works just fine.
No, it's so long. Like you don't say neoconservative, you say neocon, like to make fun of people. And then when we're saying, oh yeah, we're cool, you say, yo, we're popcons, not populist conservatives. That's so long and just unnecessary.
Says the guy who's trying to create a movement called common sense conservatism. That's literally so long.
CSC. CSC. See, it's easy to understand. It's common sense. It's just common sense, Vince. It's just common sense.
Wow.
It's just common sense. Corn Pop was a bad dude. Yeah, Corn Pop was a bad dude. That's why we go popcorn. Give a shout out to Corn Pop.
Why was Goose even like kicked in the first place? I don't even know.
Yeah, I don't know any of this Discord thing. To be honest, I didn't even know you had a Discord, Vince, if we're being honest.
I never talk in it, not because I have anything against my Discord people, but it's that I just hate the Discord app. Like it's literally just like the worst like thing ever. Like imagine like having Discord.
Lil T Stark says, then you're obviously not a libertarian. Paleo-libertarians are staunchly opposed to economic. I told you, Vince doesn't understand what he is. He's a popcorn. He's a popcorn.
I did not create that label for myself, okay? Other people created that label for me, okay?
Yeah.
I never said I was. I never identified myself as that. I'm saying that's like what people have freaking told me I am, and I don't even think that makes any sense, but I'm just being informed.
Vince, what person told you that you were a paleo-libertarian?
What person told you that your eyebrow was not a unibrow? Okay,
you have to go to my eyebrows, guys. He's going to my eyebrows because he's lost all other factual anything. He cannot compare to the majestic facts and logic of Mr. Indian Man.
Nope, untrue. Disavow.
SO2. I don't understand what any of this means.
Shout out to Tobby, Corn Pop, OMB, Dennis, and FFS. I don't know who that last person is, but
okay. Oh, that's what it means. Shout out. Okay, yeah, I'm not attuned to this live stream setting.
Do you hate Discord? I just hate Discord in general. It's just such a weird.
Yeah,
app.
He's a cringe non-Discord user. I use Discord.
Yeah, because you're literally
based
like,
and red pilled.
Not gonna say that word, but you're literally
Vince now demonetized. I don't even think are you even monetized?
I am monetized.
You make like 4 cents.
Yeah, I do make 4 cents. I made a lot from this stream though. All thanks to Goose and that other guy.
All Goose. Somehow
Pauly,
Goose.
Yeah. I know. Tell the Discord server they can make the decision. Tell my mods that they can make the decisions when they send in the super chats. Okay. The reality is here, folks. Goose is a good tax-paying citizen. The Discord mods are not being good tax-paying citizens. So, whomst am I supposed to side with? You know,
I don't know.
I could side with like ethics or morality, but instead I choose to side with money.
Vince Dow sells out to the establishment. Confirmed.
I don't even know what we're doing on the stream anymore. We're literally just attacking each other.
Vince Dow is an establishmentarian. He hates.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're Shank. You claim to be a populist.
I am. I'm a popcorn.
Working class.
I'm a popcorn.
For the working class. Yet you literally are not working class.
I am working class. I work, and I'm in class. So it's like working class. It's like something, a little bit in there. Oh, and Natalie asked, "Do you agree with taxing the rich more? Why or why not?" Well, see, there's a lot of loopholes.
We should not tax anyone more.
Yeah. I mean, I don't necessarily agree with all these like 90% tax rate things that like Mrs. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez says, but there is a lot of loopholes that these companies get, like especially oil drilling companies exporting their oil drilling to other countries to make us economically worse, and that because they're profit driven, of course, but they get to transport all these savings, everything, to non-taxable accounts, which are pretty scummy. It's pretty scummy because their profits, when taxed, should be going to the American people, not going back into subsidizing themselves. That's because the government already heavily subsidizes so many industries. It's
people keep saying to drop. I don't have the URL on hand. What the heck? Can we get a mod, please? Is a mod in the chat that isn't Goose a mod? Goose, aren't you a freaking mod? You're literally a mod on my super chat. I'm pretty sure. I'm not my super chat.
No, he isn't a mod. Why haven't you made him mod? I cannot believe it. You haven't made him mod.
I'm
Disappointed.
pretty sure I have.
No, it says he isn't on the stream. He contributes literally 100% of the Imperial Treasury, and you don't make him mod.
I'm
kind of cringe. Kind of cringe.
I'm fixing that right now. Okay, so if you could leave me alone, sir.
Kind of cringe.
You could leave me alone, sir.
EJ says, "Rich Indian boy versus the Emperor rap battle whenever Vince decides to come to my house." But
come to your. I'm literally okay. Listen, guys. Let me tell you guys a story. Okay?
No, we don't need to. We don't need to start this, Vince. I don't know what you're talking about. I disavow.
I have been the one trying to plan a trip to this guy's house out in Yee, Pennsylvania, for like several months now, and he's literally like, he just won't like give me a straight answer. So I to be clear, I am the one who has been trying to push for a summer trip to this rich man's house, and just like use his resources to just leech off his resources for like an entire week with the boys. But he's opposed to it for some reason. I simply cannot understand.
I mean. Probably trash my house because you trash everywhere you go, Vince.
Is that a racist comment? Are you trying to make a racist comment about Vietnamese
yes.
people? Yes. Oh, really? Exposed as racist, dude. Future political career ruined right there.
Over. No, it doesnn't matter when I'm being racist to a conservative, though, especially a Trumper. You know, doesn't matter. To the left, that's fine. As long as you're racist to their political opponents, you're all good. You're all good.
Political career over. Wow, Shank, how do you do? How do you just destroy your political career before it's even started?
My political career is vibrant, Vince. It's so vibrant. Y'all should support me in any one of my political careers. Vibrant
after this, okay? You're literally your political career was literally just ended by this a single turning point Dow post right here. Okay?
You know, Vince. I want you to save this because when I get one, I'll be shoving that straight back in your face, and I'll be like, look at all the female voters I have now.
I'm now. I made it to the Pennsylvania State House. Wow, political career succeeded.
No. Like I'll be a U.S. congressman, and I'll just show up at your door with like, they don't get that many black SUVs though. Like they only get like one. That's kind of sad. Okay. When I'm president, I'll roll up with like 10 black SUVs outside your house, just blockade it, and then print out like a 10 by 10 foot version of that, and just light it on fire in front of your house. That's assuming you have a house, but like if you're in California, you're not even going to be able to afford an apartment. Like,
when you're president, funny joke. Someone says, does Shank have a platform? Yeah, he has an Instagram account. I mean, it's kind of cringe, but I guess I'll shout him out. It's csc.usa. It's kind of a crappy crappy Instagram account. Okay, Vince message in a Discord server that I'm part in. What
about the Shawshank Redemption? Yeah, that's a good movie though. Like anybody who hasn't watched it should watch it. Not gonna lie there. I do have a platform. It's an amazing platform. You should hop on with common sense conservatism. It's the only way that we're gonna win elections from now on. Populism. We love Shank 2040. Is that what I'm hearing? Yes. 2040. I have a big endowment that I could use for my political campaign. Unlike Vince, Mr. Vince, just out here having to actually work SMH. Vince, how are you dealing with people trying to cancel you? He doesn't care. He literally doesn't care. He just keeps on making Native American jokes.
Hey. I never once made such remarks. This is blatant slander right here. Message your mod team. They're trying to rig the election. We
need to support VinceDao election integrity.
What else do you want?
VinceDao Discord server election integrity. What would be the ideal tax plan? Flat tax rate or I say staggered. Flat taxes sounds nice, but
flat tax is epic.
VinceDao is stupid.
You are stupid. Like this man, he literally wants to raise your taxes. Okay, you're gonna vote.
No, I want to lower your taxes. For this man? Don't believe him. For anybody below $250,000, I will lower your taxes.
Biden here. You're not gonna. No, this is Joe Biden right now. He's like,
this is the thing. This is the thing.
Your taxes won't be raised.
No, this is the thing. He says above 200,000, he's gonna raise taxes, but I'm saying below 250, I'm going to lower your taxes, like by a lot too. You'll be saving, the average American family with my tax plan would save $40,000. That's a lot of money. I know you want $40,000.
What average American family pays $40,000 in tax? How is that even possible, Shank? I'm pretty sure the average American family does not pay $40,000.
Okay. I said. Vince Dow doesn't know. Vince Dow doesn't understand. Vince Dow does not understand how tax plans work. I'm talking about not just income tax. I'm talking about property, everything. But that had to be decided by the states. But there'd be multiple incentives for them to change that, especially with us controlling almost every state a majority of state legislatures, which we haven't used to propose a constitutional amendment yet, which we should. We need to reform the education system. Vince knows a lot about what I'm talking about. We don't use the little 3-letter word that my political opponents will undoubtedly use when I say that. Ooh,
all right, Orange Man Dad also formally requests an official pardon from all charges related to the VinceDao Discord server. The Emperor only speaks facts, and I am a personal fan of your. He's really buttering me up here.
How do you get people to pay you?
We may need a little bit more funds there, but I'm really leaning towards granting this pardon here. I don't know, Shank. What do you think here? Should Orange Man Dad receive this pardon?
He's been an amazing contributor to the Imperial Treasury, and I think he's just amazing. I think he deserves a pardon.
Interesting. All right, folks. Hereby, Orange Man Bad is hereby pardoned. Just do not cause any more trouble, okay? Because I don't know what Goose did. I know Orange Man Bad was used to be a little bit of a problematic member of the server, but your pardon is hereby granted, sir. Okay, so your pardon has been granted, and just tell the server that I have. In fact, why don't you just screen record me saying your pardon is granted and send that? That should be fine.
Oh, look, Vince Tim's in the chat talking about Trevor Boyvin. What's your opinion on banning the oppressor MK2? You know what? My opinion on banning most things is that it's stupid.
Absolutely should do that. It is literally a threat to national security.
Oh no, false. Vince is capping. He just can't deal with it. He's unprepared.
This guy's a cringe oppressor Mark II griefer. Are you serious, dude? As if you needed another reason not to vote for Shashank Yalamoto.
You should vote for me. Don't you like me lowering your taxes? I could also, your healthcare will be officially fixed, because a lot of problem with the Republican Party nowadays is that they always say, Obamacare is bad. Like, okay, what's your solution? And they're like, we don't have a solution, but Obamacare is bad. Like, what are you doing there? Like, you're just saying, we should repeal it and replace it with nothing. Like, you're stupid. And that's what the establishment's been trying to do for the past 8 years. Even when there was a full Republican House, Republican Senate, Republican president, they're just like sitting on their asses doing nothing, which is why the establishment is cringe and unbased. That's why you should vote for me, because I'm not establishment. I totally won't enter more wars in the Middle East. I mean, not in the Middle East, maybe in Africa. That's a different story. Let's read some more comments here. Tell us your solution then. I'd love to hear. Avery, solution for what? I have many solutions for many things. You should read my manifesto. It's not like a school shooter manifesto or anything. I totally disavow all school shooters. They're terrible people. We need more mental health education in this country. We don't need to ban every single gun in the United States over it. Okay, that's just stupid. The left is stupid. They use mass shooters as a justification for their political agenda, and that's terrible. It's unethical, and that's why the Democratic Party is canceled. I hereby cancel the Democratic Party.
Wow, dude, you're so cool, so epic.
Yeah, me and my 2 followers are going to cancel the Democratic Party.
I would like to hear your solution.
Yeah, but I asked Avery, solution for what? Like taxes or like invading Africa?
I'm pretty sure he's talking about healthcare.
Oh, healthcare. Well, I'm more of a proponent of a Swiss system, whereas the Affordable Care Act is more of a Dutch system trying to copy it, even though it fails in many regards. Especially that it doesn't let insurers compete across state lines, which is specifically a very flawed thing in our healthcare system. The premiums are way too high, first of all, because the government is not allowed to negotiate for healthcare prices, and when it is allowed to negotiate, it negotiates terribly because it has no oversight boards, it has no oversight committees. The Affordable Care Act was just in general a total failure for the American people. It included so many clauses that did nothing except basically enfranchised these mega monopolies. It granted these contracts to the mega monopolies. Oh, Avery said no, definitely the Africa part. Well, okay, once I finish this, I'll go on to why Africa is a justified campaign.
I disavow, okay? I am actually an America First foreign policy guy. This guy's kind of like a bit of an imperialist over here, okay? Guys, I'm going to pull out of the Middle East to invade Nigeria.
It's false. I mean, but like, look, Nigeria's it's closer to us. The oil could reach us faster. It doesn't have to go through the Strait of Hormuz, which is controlled by Iran, which is an enemy to the United States. Like, let's just be honest. Let's just be honest here. Let's just be real here. I'm not arguing for intervention into Africa. I'm just saying, if we had to,
but you are though.
Disavow.
I'm not saying I'm going to invade Africa.
I'm disavowing. No, that's not what this is. That's not what this is. Oh, EJ's leaving. See you, EJ. Describe your immigration plan. Oh, controversial.
You didn't even finish your healthcare plan, you freaking dude. This man is. Look at this.
I might as well. I might as well just copy it. Look, I'm just gonna copy.
His politician tendencies are already coming out here, folks. As you can see, he's literally jumped around in 3 different questions, answered 0 of them. Okay, look at this, folks. Look at what's going on here.
But I don't know what you're talking about, man. If you go back, if you look at the bigger picture here, I'm not a politician. I'm not an establishmentarian. I'm a populist.
Okay, sure, buddy.
I'm a populist. I love the people. Popcorn. I love people and popcorn.
Well, Shashank, if you're such a populist, then explain why you're the least popular kid at your school.
That's false, though. That's curious. I'm not even happy. That's
if you claim you can win,
okay, that one's true. That one's true. But the first one's false. The first one's false. The second one has a bit more truth to it. I'll work on fixing the second one, Vince. It's kind of hard though. I live in literally a Democrat plus 16 district.
Look at these excuses, sir. All the excuses, sir.
Bro, man, like literally, you had to like go to what, like Maryland or somewhere to find a girl. Like, come on, man. Literally, cat.
And where are you gonna go? India?
Yeah, maybe.
You just go one of those arranged marriages.
Bro, I would. If I have to do that, I'm actually gonna like cry. Like I'm actually gonna cry if I have to do that. God, that'll be the lowest point of my life. Couldn't even compete with Vince to get a girl in SMH. Vince, do you think the condition in New York will improve now that Cuomo is politically dead? No, it won't.
No.
I'm answering for Vince because everyone knows it won't. My leftist history teacher has been talking about socialism lately. She likes it. I don't. What can I say when our class talked about it? Say that socialism is unethical because it requires the forced redistribution of resources. And if you are a Christian, you can talk about how that is just absolutely immoral in terms of Christian morality. And if you're not a Christian, then you can talk about how socialism and socialist states have always led to imminent failure. And if she brings up the Nordic countries, mention that the Nordic countries are capitalist nations with a welfare state, and that Sweden is currently failing their welfare state, and their welfare state will collapse because of the amount of refugees they bring in. And America was and is built on a lot of immigration, whether you like it or not, from many different countries. And that immigration would not be compatible with a welfare state the likes of the Nordic states. And also Norway, which is the only Nordic country that is doing well and has their welfare state intact, is fully subsidized off of an oil fund. So there goes your environmentalism. Kind of controversial. So there's a full debunk for your history teacher or whatever.
All right, guys, we're gonna have to wrap up the stream here because my camera is literally like about to die. So we've actually went for that long. Very cool. But all right, we're gonna wrap up the stream here, guys. We're going to make this a thing. All right. Vince Dow Live is going to be here every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern time. And I don't know if our Indian friend here will be back. Oh, and there you go. My camera did die. Am I like frozen or something?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyways, guys, you can look at my frozen face. But yeah, we'll see you guys next Wednesday, and we'll definitely have videos like in podcasts and stuff before then. But yeah, be sure to go follow our friend right here at csc.usa on Instagram. If you would like to be subjected to absolutely cringe content, but if not, you do not have to. But yeah, see you guys. And do you have any final words, sir? You're just speaking to EOS webcam utility right now.
Yeah, EOS webcam utility. Well, I'd just like to say that EOS webcam utility nationalism is based and red-pilled.
Very cool. Absolutely.
Follow me at csc.usa. If you don't follow me, you don't get a cookie. If you do follow me, I'll think about mailing you.
Politician already promising free stuff. All right.
I'll think about mailing you $1.